I caught my wife cheating, and now I'm divorcing her. I never imagined our marriage would end this way, but after discovering the truth, I realized there was nothing left to save. Hello, Reddit. I plus here. I never imagined that after 11 years of marriage, I would be sitting alone in an apartment on the other side of the world, staring at divorce papers and wondering how I had completely misjudged the person I built my life around. My wife and I met when I was 25 and she was 23. At the time, she was the kind of woman everyone admired. She was confident, ambitious, compassionate, and fiercely loyal to the people she loved. At least, that's who I thought she was. I grew up watching my father destroy my mother emotionally. Their home was filled with shouting, manipulation, broken promises, and constant disappointment. I promised myself that if I ever got married, I would become the exact opposite of him. So when I met my wife, I took marriage seriously. I didn't just love her. I built my entire life around her. She was from another country, and after we became serious, I eventually made the biggest decision of my life. I left my home country and moved across the world to start a life with her. I left behind my parents, siblings, childhood friends, familiar streets, my career, and practically everything I had ever known. I told myself it was worth it because I was going to build a family with the woman I loved. For years, I never regretted that decision. My wife wanted to continue her education, so I supported her. I paid tuition, helped with expenses, and encouraged her whenever she doubted herself. When she decided she wanted to attend beauty school, I supported that too. When someone in her family needed help, I was there. When her mother was going through a difficult period, I helped. When her siblings needed financial assistance, I did what I could. If my wife came home exhausted from work, I listened. If she had a terrible day, I held her. If she succeeded, I celebrated with her. I wasn't perfect. I made mistakes. I could be stubborn sometimes. I wasn't always romantic enough. But I never cheated on her. I never abused her. I never intentionally humiliated her. I genuinely believed we were partners. Then, about 6 months before everything collapsed, something changed. It wasn't one dramatic event. It was small things at first. She started staying late at work. Then she suddenly had dinners with coworkers. Then there were weekend plans I wasn't invited to. She started taking more business trips. Her phone became something she guarded like a bank vault. She would turn the screen away whenever I walked into the room. She changed her password. Then she changed it again. Whenever I asked what was happening, she had an explanation. You're imagining things. You've become insecure. Not everything is about you. Do you really expect me to spend every minute with you? I started questioning myself. Maybe I was being needy. Maybe moving to another country had made me overly dependent on her. Maybe I wasn't giving her enough space. So I tried harder. I started doing more around the house. I cooked more often. I arranged little dates. I asked her about her day. I even suggested couples counseling. That suggestion completely exploded. Instead of agreeing to talk about our problems, she became furious. She told me I was trying to control her. She said I had become paranoid. She told me that if I didn't trust her, maybe I was the one with the problem. Eventually, I stopped bringing it up, but inside, I was falling apart. I began seeing a therapist because I genuinely thought something was wrong with me. Then my wife announced another work trip. She said she would be gone for several days. The night before she left, she kissed me goodbye and told me she loved me. I remember watching her walk out the door. I had no idea that was the beginning of the end. A few days later, something happened that I still can't explain. I was looking for an old document on our shared computer when I noticed a notification from an unfamiliar email account. Normally, I would have ignored it, but something about the message bothered me. I opened it. There were no explicit photographs, no dramatic confession, just a few lines. But those lines destroyed 11 years of my life. There was a man talking to my wife about seeing her again after she returned from her trip. He called her by a nickname I had never heard before. Then he wrote something that made my stomach drop. He said he missed their little secret. I read the message 3 times. I couldn't breathe. I confronted my wife the moment she returned. She denied everything, not hesitated, not apologized, denied. She told me the man was simply a coworker. Then she said I had misunderstood the messages. Then she accused me of invading her privacy. I asked her one simple question. Are you sleeping with him? She looked directly into my eyes and said no. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to. But something inside me had already broken. I hired a licensed private investigator. I didn't tell her. For several days, I barely slept. Every time my phone rang, my heart jumped. Then the investigator called. He asked me to come into his office. I knew before I even sat down. He showed me photographs. My wife meeting the same man at a restaurant. The two of them entering a hotel, leaving together several hours later. Another photograph showed them at a bar holding hands. There were records of meetings that stretched back months, not days, not one drunken mistake, months. The woman I had defended, supported, sacrificed for, and trusted completely had been living another life behind my back. When I confronted her again, she still denied having an affair. Even after I showed her the evidence, she changed the story. First, she said they were only friends. Then she said they had become emotionally close. Then she claimed nothing physical happened. Finally, after I told her I had enough evidence for the divorce proceedings, she stopped arguing. She sat on the edge of the bed and started crying. I asked her how long it had been happening. She wouldn't answer. I asked if he was the only one. Again, silence. That silence hurt almost more than the affair itself. Because now, I don't know what was real. Were all those late nights lies? Were the business trips actually business trips? Was she texting him while sitting beside me? Was she telling him she loved him after telling me the same thing? I have spent months replaying our marriage in my head. Every memory now has a question mark attached to it. Our anniversary, our vacations, the nights we stayed up talking, the sacrifices I made, the promises we exchanged. I don't know which memories I can trust anymore. The divorce process has begun, and surprisingly, she doesn't want it. She keeps telling me that she made a mistake. She says she wants to repair our marriage. She says the affair meant nothing. She says she still loves me. But something inside me has changed permanently. I spent 11 years building this marriage. She spent months destroying the trust, holding it together. And now she wants me to rebuild it. I can't. Maybe someone else could forgive this. Maybe someone else could believe that the affair was a mistake and move forward. But I know myself. If I stayed, I would constantly wonder. Every time she went to work, I would wonder. Every time her phone buzzed, I would wonder. Every time she traveled, I would wonder. I don't want to spend the rest of my life investigating the person sleeping beside me, so I filed for divorce. The hardest part isn't even losing my wife. It's realizing how much of myself I lost trying to make the marriage work. I moved across the world for her. Now I'm sitting in a country that was supposed to become my home, surrounded by memories of a life that no longer exists. My family is thousands of miles away. My old friends are thousands of miles away. The career I left behind is gone. And the person I thought would always be beside me is the person I now need to legally separate from. Some nights I wonder if I made the biggest mistake of my life by following her here. Other nights I remind myself that loving someone sincerely isn't something I should be ashamed of. I didn't lose because I loved my wife. I lost because I trusted someone who didn't protect that trust. My therapist keeps telling me that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means eventually remembering without feeling like you're being stabbed all over again. I hope she's right. Because right now, I don't know how I'll ever love another woman. I don't want someone else to pay for the damage my wife caused. I don't want to meet a wonderful woman someday and punish her for something she didn't do. I don't want to compare every new relationship to the marriage I lost. And I definitely don't want to become bitter. But I'm scared. I'm scared that I'll never trust again. I'm scared I'll spend the rest of my life looking for signs of betrayal. I'm scared that I'll push away someone good because I won't believe they could actually love me. Still, I'm trying to take things one day at a time. The divorce isn't completely finished yet, but once it is, I intend to cut contact as much as legally possible. No more checking her social media, no more asking mutual friends about her, no more wondering where she is, no more searching for answers that may never come. Maybe I'll never know the full truth. Maybe there were things she took to the grave, and eventually I have to accept that, because I've realized something painful. Closure isn't always getting every answer. Sometimes closure is accepting that the person who hurt you isn't going to give you the explanation you deserve. My wife didn't just cheat on me, she changed the way I see the entire marriage. But she doesn't get to decide what happens to the rest of my life. She can keep the lies, she can keep the excuses, she can keep the memories of whatever happened with that man. I'm taking back my future. I don't know what it looks like yet. Maybe someday I'll fall in love again. Maybe I'll trust someone again. Maybe I'll even look back at this chapter and realize that losing my marriage was actually the beginning of finding myself. For now, I'm just trying to survive the heartbreak without allowing it to turn me into someone I don't recognize. So that's where I am. Divorcing the woman I thought I'd grow old with, living far from the home I once knew, and trying to figure out how to start over from almost nothing. I know I can't change what she did. I can't get back the years. I can't erase the betrayal. But I can choose what happens next. And for the first time in 11 years, I'm choosing myself.